me scoot on in here.
Alright.
Okay, welcome to Tuesday Times today. My name is Ultra David. This is James Chen.
How's everybody going?
Before we get going, I just want to briefly reference a Reddit thread that we saw where somebody said that it seemed like, let me just look it up, like we had a falling out. I just want to say, it's something that we had been working on. We'd like to move past it if possible. So I don't want there to be a bunch of drama or anything. I mean, it's been an issue, but we'll, I thought the show yesterday went well, so.
I mean, we try our best to be very professional about these things.
Yeah.
So even, if we're having any sort of issues, we try to be very professional. So, yeah. So, I mean, you guys can find it on Reddit, but, there's stuff going on. So, but we will move past it.
Something we will try not to discuss too much. All right, so today we are doing an AskUltraChen episode.
And everybody says that.
Oh, is this
crackling?
The crackling is still happening? Oh no!
Crackling. It's funny because I don't hear it from my end. Let me try doing something really quick. Hang on, guys. We're gonna go mute for a second. Alright, so now that the thing is back, do you still hear any crackling? Is there any crackling still? No?
All right,
Yeah,
look at you.
there
You did
go.
something right this week. So let's get on the questions.
fine.
Let's get on the questions.
Alright, here we go. Let's see. So should we start with Twitter or should we start with email first?
Let's start with Twitter, I guess. Why not?
Okay, sure, no problem. So, I need to set it up so we can see the tweets, right?
Oh, no.
Yeah, we want to set that up. So
Yeah, let's set that up.
Get me.
In the meantime, if you would like to ask us questions, that's what we're doing all day today on the show. There just wasn't that much news. We looked up like all the news that's been going on
Right.
Event Hubs and on Shoryuken, and there just wasn't that much in the way of interesting stuff, at least to us. So we
Well-
want to open it up to let other people.
A couple of things. I mean, I know Shadowloo Showdown is coming up very
Right.
soon, right? So that's definitely something worth talking about a little
That's
bit
true.
of. There was something else that was kind of pseudo interesting. I can't remember what it was now. Someone asked us about something.
Well, hopefully it comes up in the questions.
Okay,
But
okay.
again, if you're interested in asking us something, just let us know. You can send us tweets at UltraChenTV, or you can email us at ultrachentv@gmail.com. So please send away if you have any interest in doing so.
Yeah, and if you want to tweet us any questions right now as we're watching, just tweet at UltraChenTV. Yeah, okay. All right, so first question here.
Let's go.
All right, yeah.
What changes would you make to Jury in
Oh,
Ultra
jeez.
Street Fighter 4? What is she lacking?
Wow, that is the
in
one
AE.
character that probably would throw us for the most of a loop right now because both of us do not profess to be jury experts.
I've said in the past that she's the character that I know least about. In fact, lately I've been thinking about starting to play her just to like get a better idea because I never see her.
Well, the only experience we have is just getting bodied in Super by
But that was
Enma.
yeah,
But that was in Super, yeah.
3 years ago, right?
The funniest thing is she wasn't as good in that version, and I felt like the way Enma was using it was amazing.
It seems to me like she has good frame traps. I like her tricks, especially in Ultra 1. I think she has decent mid-range options. They're not the best. She doesn't have the best normals.
Right.
But she has pretty good fireball stuff. Her wake-up game is not that great, of course. She just has EX spin and the kind of parry mechanic into the directional thing. And those are okay, but they're certainly not up there with among the better reversals.
I mean, if I had to go into any specific details, one of the first changes I would make is make it so that the EX spin is a true wake-up, the EX pinwheel, because it runs out of invincibility before it hits. So I would make it a true invincible move, and then I would also make it so the parry mechanic is a true reversal, because like 1 frame startup. So if you reversal it, you can get.
Does it have startup?
It doesn't, but it does. Edma back in Super used to just hound me. Like he would show me experiments where when he did a meaty like normal move, he could parry it, but if it was like a meaty projectile, it wouldn't work. But then if it was a meaty this, it would work. Like it was weird.
Okay, I guess I don't know the ins and outs of that.
Yeah,
honestly.
see, he was just like trying it all day. He couldn't figure it out either. It's just like really inconsistent. There's a weird bug.
It's 0 frame on EX, but 2 frame normally is what Endril says.
Yeah, but like I said, I remember Ed was showing me these situations where he would use, I think, only the EX one or maybe one of them, and it was behaving really erratically.
Okay.
So I would like to see that to be a little. Oh, so there was a hitbox issue on the older versions. So maybe it already is fixed.
Okay.
Then, so.
Yeah. Again, that was really the last time that we got to play against her.
Exactly.
I mean, I play that game online all the time, and I play Hakan's and Dan's and whatever character more than Jury. She's probably the least seen in my opinion.
I don't understand that. Like,
I don't either.
One, she's super popular now.
She's cool looking. I mean, she has a cool character.
She's such an avid cosplay target, right? So it's obviously she has this very strong fan base out there, but I don't know, like nobody plays her.
I think she has a cool design and gameplay too. That's why I'm thinking about picking her up. Not just because I don't know anything about her, but because she seems interesting.
Yeah, and the coolest thing about it is, it still marvels to me that they created 2 new characters, Jury and Hakan, and they totally could have went the easy route, but they created like 2 of the weirdest, like more complicated characters.
Interesting character.
So,
she got 9th at Evo. You know?
Did she? Oh,
Juicebox did it a couple of years back.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. Let's move on though.
Okay.
See if we got anything else.
So let's see here. All right. So, who wins in a 1st to 10? Bonchan versus Snake Eyes.
The best Sagat in the world versus the best Zangief.
Now, okay, I already know what you're going to say. You think that that's one of the worst matches in the game, right?
I do.
But Snake Eyes, whenever you see him play against Sagats, makes the Sagats look absolutely pathetic.
I saw him play against Mago, in fact, last year when Mago was stranded in the U.S. for a while. There were some passport issues a year ago, and...
Well, let me say one thing. Undead Hayabusa says Jury's ultras suck. I actually think Feng Shui Engine is amazing, but
that's a tricky one, man.
Yeah.
It's good. Her dashes are so fast. It seems to me like people still don't really know which options go into which, so you can trick people with that. But she has cool tricks, even if people know what's going on.
Yeah. But in any case, go back. Okay.
And he actually went even against Mago.
Okay.
This was in casuals though, not in tournament. Mago Sagat. You know, Mago was no longer playing Sagat as his main. He was already Fei Long.
Right.
But he had played that character and kept that character as a secondary. So he was still very good with him. And yet he was going even against
It's really
Snake
funny
Eyes.
because now that you mention it, I was about to name someone else. I was going to mention Combo Jack. And he actually went the same path as Mago, didn't he?
Yeah, he
Sagat
did.
to Fei Long, right? So, that was a height thing, not a tier thing. Sagat to Fei Long.
Okay.
But I saw them play at Wednesday Night Fights, and Combo Jack picked Sagat against Snake Eyes, and Snake Eyes just made that match look foolish. Like, it just didn't look like Sagat could do anything in that match. It was really weird to me to see.
Well, he has excellent reactions, and his spacing is amazing. So if you do those 2 things, it's harder for Sagat than it is otherwise. I still think that Bonchan, if it was 1st to 10, I would look for Snake Eyes to take maybe 4 or 5 at the most.
And then plus
honestly.
the other thing is we saw how Bonchan even got it to 2-2 versus Cammy, which is a bad matchup for him. So seeing what he can do in a bad matchup and then you give him a good matchup, I mean, I would definitely pick Bonchan, but
I would bet a lot of money on Bonchan.
I would
Unfortunately.
I would be willing to put the bet up for like Snake Eyes winning at least 5 games. Like
I might consider that kind of thing. Yeah,
I could put that up.
Okay.
Could put that up. So.
Okay. Well, let's check out the next one.
Okay, sure, no problem. Let's go.
Dissolve. In honor of Povert Fest 2013 this past weekend, what are your favorite poverty fighting games? Now, I didn't actually get a chance to watch any of that, although it sounded like a cool idea. It was a stream where people found like some of the oldest and most obscure and stupidest fighting games that they could, the brokenest ones, and just played them. And it seemed, from what I heard, they had a really fun time doing it. So.
Now, what counts as a poverty fighting game?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know.
Because, I mean, there's obviously stuff like all those fighting games on Neo Geo, right? Like Double Dragon and all these completely random games, right? But then there's some of these games that could be considered poverty that aren't poverty, but that are really good. You know, like Vampire Savior could almost be considered a poverty game, right? Do you think? Or
I don't know if I would consider that a poverty
Is it just
game.
because it's made by Capcom?
No, I feel like it's had more of a heyday at least. It was like played reasonably widely. It wasn't the major game or anything, but I don't know. That's what I think.
Okay.
You don't think so, huh?
I don't know. Like, it just doesn't. It's just never had. I guess you know what? It has gotten on the streams at events before, and I guess that kind of qualifies it as not being a poverty game, right?
Right.
So I mean, like for example, I would say something like TMNT Tournament Fighters on the Super Nintendo.
Right.
But that's made it onto some streams.
Yeah, I guess. I think I would categorize that as a poverty game. So I did play that back in the day. I don't know if you want to consider here like World Heroes Perfect a poverty game. 'Cause I played a bunch of that on online especially. I played. Let's see. I really like Fighter's Destiny. I feel that's like on the margins. Maybe it's a 3D game. I don't know if like any 3D games are poverty games, but
yeah, probably like Battle Arena
maybe
Toshinden,
or
something like that. So
I really like that game actually.
Battle Arena Toshinden.
No.
Okay.
Fighter's Destiny. Okay. I played a bunch of Armjo, which was it was just this horrible game that like downloaded for Windows. In the middle of when I was in, it was like middle 2000s, I guess. It was based on Les Miserables. It was Les Miserables.
There's a Les Miserables fighting game?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It was horrible. But I actually played it a lot because I just was bored at the time and I was like finding infinites for characters and stuff. I played that a lot.
There was a game on, I think it was a Sega Saturn called Black Hole Assault.
Okay.
Which was a fighting game between robots. The actual thing that I liked the most about it was there was a mode, like a hidden mode in the game, where you could actually program the AI of the robots. So like at this distance, try to do these moves. At this distance, do this and whatever like that.
Yeah.
And so basically, you ended up having like a coaching mode. Like you would program it and then pit them against your opponent's AI and see how the robots would do in that.
Random.
That way. Yeah. There was another horrible PC fighting game called Sengo Fighter, which was based on the Romance of the Three Kingdoms characters.
Oh, I think you told me about that.
Yeah. But no, there's actually a good one on the PS1, Dynasty Warriors. The original Dynasty Warriors is based on that, but on the PC there was this just super ghetto game.
Okay.
But Dynasty Warriors might even count as one for me because I put a lot of time into that game. So, yeah.
I don't know if you want to consider like Karnov's a poverty game. Is that
Karnov's Revenge?
Yeah.
Probably.
I played a lot of that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, I was a big Mars guy. And one of my all-time favorite soundtracks comes from FX Fighter, which is about as obscure as it gets.
Right. So. That's the one that you still say is like the best fighting game soundtrack
it's
ever,
amazing.
Right?
Seriously.
If you guys can find, there is a game. Okay, well, there's a game on PS1 that I also played a lot called Critical Blow. I've referenced it a couple of times, where basically you could actually get cards of your opponent's special. It was like a card collecting game, so much to the point where some of the characters would just be completely broken, but you would get cards. And the coolest thing about it, since it was 3D, they took the idea that you could get your opponent's special moves as cards and lock them onto you, so everyone had use a special move code. So you would do the code, and because it's 3D, they could animate everybody doing each other's moves, which was kind of neat, right? But oh my gosh, why can't I remember the name of this game now? It is probably the worst fighting game I have ever played in my life.
I said that FX Fighter had the best soundtrack. I'm trying to remember a name too. Also in the mid 2000s, around the same time that the Les Mis game came out, there was this game. You could be like Jean Valjean. There was a rabbit. There was like all sorts of characters. Anyway, there was this game. I can't remember what it is, but there was like a wolf in it and like a fox maybe, and it was just like something that I downloaded. It was for Windows. It was like nobody played it.
What did the fox say?
I don't even remember what it said. I have like these very vague memories of it, but I spent a lot of time playing that game. I don't know why I can't remember. No, it wasn't Bloody Roar. It was something that was. It was. You probably don't know it. Levels of obscurity. It was just like something that I found on like a web forum, and somebody was like, "Here's a game. Like, check it out." And I was like, "Okay, why not?"
God, I gotta remember what the hell that name of the. Seriously, the worst fighting game I've ever played. And me and my friends, when we played it, it was just like, it was so terrible. And I can't remember what it's called. It's driving me nuts. I know it's still in my parents' house at home.
What is this list that you have? Oh,
It's
Sega
just a list
Saturn
of all
games.
Sega Saturn games. I'm just trying to see if I can find the name of it.
I'm serious.
There it is.
Oh,
There it is.
What's it?
Criticom.
Oh, that's a stupid name.
Oh my god. This is the worst.
Hey, put the picture up. Let me see.
Oh, okay. Hang on.
Because that looks real stupid.
Here. Let's do this, shall we?
Yeah, just get it over there. Criticom. Oh yeah, wow.
Criticom. This is here. Let's dissolve this over here. This is by far the worst.
Just click on the picture.
Yeah, I just gotta do something really quick here. Why can't I change the settings? Okay, hang on one second, guys. Hang on, let me go back here real quick.
Yeah, there you go.
But see, it's way over there to the side, unfortunately, because I'm capturing the
Yeah.
middle. So let me do select capture area. Let's see, desktop plus. There we go. Select capture area. I'll just move it over here really quick. Yes. Okay, there we go. So this is Criticom. This is seriously the worst fighting game I've ever played in my entire life. It was so bad. Like, somebody had a move where they tried to throw a fireball where they literally, I mean, like, here, I'm just going to use my phone and demonstrate. This is the character, right? He had a triple fireball move, right?
Okay.
And this game was 3D, so there was, like, movement in it. So he would jump here and go. Like, he shot a triple fireball, and it was literally that speed.
It was like he was triple jumping?
No, he
And
just
threw a
he
fireball
would just
each
jump
time?
forward and like spin around and shoot 3 fireballs, and it like there's just no reason why you couldn't avoid that 100% of the time, and he was stuck doing it the entire time. This game was terrible.
That sounds
this game
dumb.
is really, really bad.
Well, I look forward to seeing it in mystery game tournament sometime.
Dude, if anyone can find Criticom and put it on there, dude, that would just be amazing. So.
All right.
Yeah,
Let's,
but obviously that made no sense to anybody
Nope.
staring at that at all whatsoever, but that's okay. Okay, so let's go back to the Twitters.
Bonus follow-up.
Yep.
What are your favorite fighting game characters who are actually impoverished?
So what? Just
This
like,
this requires that I know stories. I'm not
yeah,
the
like
best
know
at
the
it.
characters decently
Uncle
enough,
Sensei.
I guess. Yeah.
That's my answer. I don't know. What do I say?
Who are actually like
Yeah,
actual
in the
poor?
story.
Oh, I see. I
Yeah.
see. Jeez.
Ryu, I guess, is a cat.
He's the poorest you can get, right? I mean, he has.
I mean,
nothing
Uncle Sensei
just-
might be poorer.
Okay, fair enough. Oro might be pretty poor.
Oro.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know if Oro would consider himself impoverished, though. See, Sensei considers himself impoverished. But would Ryu consider themselves impoverished? They're not looking for money. They're just traveling around. Oro lives in, like, Rock's territory and just, like, lifts a rock for practice. And I don't think he's too concerned about it.
Would Yoda from Soul Calibur count? He lives in a swamp. He's got a really crappy home, dude.
Well, it depends. It depends. Within that game, what age Yoda?
That's true.
was
He's the
he?
younger Yoda because he still
Is he
fights.
the younger Yoda?
Well,
I
he
don't
fights
know.
with the lightsaber. He never fought in the old ones because he was too old by then, right?
Right. Yeah, that's the
right.
reason.
Too old to fight. He was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right. So. What are the main mechanics that are unique to 2D games as opposed to 3D games? Can there be a middle ground between them? At this point, the way that the 3D technology has gotten, I don't think there's a differentiation anymore.
You mean, well, I don't think he just means in the graphics. Like Street Fighter 4 is a 3D game in terms of the
he's
graphics.
just talking about
He means like the movement, right?
Okay,
like,
okay.
I feel like that's probably what he means.
Okay. So let me think then.
I feel like the biggest difference is the jump.
Yeah.
I feel like it's real tough to have a 3D game where there is a real vertical field as well. Obviously, 3D games have jumps, but they're more like hop kicks, and where they have been actual jumps, they've been kind of ineffective as a jump in the same kind of way that 2D games are.
It was really interesting. Before they came out with Street Fighter 4, a long time ago, me and my friends were discussing how to turn Street Fighter into the 3D world, right? And so, when you make a game 3D, all of a sudden you always have to have some sort of 3D mechanic. So I actually tried to replace crouching and jumping with going into the foreground and coming into the background, right? I just totally, well, no, for them it made sense. Okay,
Yeah.
but so in other words, you had 3 directions of block. You had back, down, and up. Like if you held up, you would block attacks coming from this plane of view. If you held down, you would block attacks coming from this view.
Dang.
And if you you know what I mean?
That's
So
some chess 3D stuff.
yeah, so you substitute jumping and crouching, high and lows, with these directions. It was kind of really interesting, the mechanic that we were trying to come up with to bring Street Fighter into the 3D world.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like you would do side steps. It was like literally you would go to the side and attack. So then you like jump attacks, kind of things like that. It was really kind of interesting idea. So, but yeah.
Like in, what was that? It was an Art of Fighting or something that was from
Fatal
a million years
Fury.
ago? Fatal Fury.
Yeah, where they could go into the background and just do a simple attack. Yeah. That was kind of what I was.
Okay.
That's what we came up with. So, yeah, I mean, but that's kind of the concept, like you're talking about, how there's no real jumping in 3D games.
I mean, it's tough to have a real 3D game. Maybe a virtual one you want to consider a kind of a fighting game. That's maybe an example, but for the most part, it's 2D. Like a 3D game is kind of 2D if you think about it. You have this plane. And you have this plane. You don't really have this plane. It's kind of just there as like very small jumps, not really the major part of the game. Whereas a 2D game is like, obviously you have this and you have this. You don't have this in and out of the screen thing. So in both cases, you kind of have a 2-dimensional game. I just feel like it's tough to have 3D unless you're in full virtual on territory.
Yeah, I mean, what about like the Dragon Ball games, right? Where
or like that.
Super jumping into the sky and going crazy, right? So.
Yeah.
But, I mean, at this point in time, I really just feel like the line is getting a little more and more blurred now. I mean, obviously, the 2D games, 3D games, it's really just a style choice that they're deciding to stick with certain concepts. You know what I mean? They could change it. Like, if they did Tekken Cross Street Fighter, they could easily just make it still look a lot like Tekken and move Tekken, but bring in a lot of 2D concepts and stuff like that in there if they really felt like it, so... Okay.
All right. Let's move on then.
What have I done here?
Oh no! What happened? Predictions on the biggest, worst to first character in Ultra Street Fighter 4. Which character will enjoy the biggest gain in use? Yeah. I gotta look up the character list. I always have to do this. I don't even know which characters in the game unless I see.
You can't rattle off all 39 characters right now out of the top of your head. Seriously? You're so weak. Dude, I have to bring up the list every single time. Dude.
Yeah. Let's see. Abel, Adon, Akuma. No.
I already feel like it's gonna be Yang.
Yang might be a good one.
Because people like Chris G are already playing him in advance. Flo's already playing him in advance.
Yeah.
So if he does get better, maybe that might work.
I think that's a good pick. I think I would also look to Chun-Li. I know a lot of people really want to be playing her. They want to already be playing her. But they don't think that she's very good. So if she gets reasonable buffs, then I would look for her to have the biggest jump in popularity.
It's really hard to say. I mean, honestly,
maybe DJ.
Hakan is a huge.
Hakan won't.
Well, that depends. Honestly, if Hakan gets to a point where he's super scrubby, he will get a huge jump. Right, as long as the character is scrubby enough that it's easy to pick him up and you can get free wins with them, right? Then, I mean, look at the onslaught of Cammy players.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like those are my biggest picks. I think DJ is a pretty good one. Maybe Rose, because she sounds like she's getting buffed in every way.
Dude, that's crazy to me because I think Rose is already
me
good,
too.
right? So
Me too.
yeah.
So, I don't know. It's gonna be hard to tell until we know what all of the buffs and nerfs are for sure, and what the game engine changes are.
Right.
So I don't know.
Okay, so obviously not English is not their first language.
Okay.
So what kind of character do you think the new Street Fighter 1 would be? I'm guessing he's asking the fifth character who has not been revealed yet. What do we think the character is going to be?
I think that's correct.
Yes.
Who knows? I have no idea. Again, my personal hope is that they bring in like 6 or 7 or 8. That is the pre-version of 12, because Street Fighter 4 is supposed to be before 3 in the game storyline. And I'd really like to see 12, but I guess it can't be 12. It would be like one of his predecessor clones.
Right. So keep in mind, everybody, they said that this character has never been in a fighting game before, right? So if they've never been in a fighting game...
Yeah. Yeah, so something in between Necro and 12. I just love the 12 design.
It has to be before Necro, right? Because Necro is...
No, Necro I think was the basis of the 12 clones.
So they can't bring in one of those characters. Necro, if you use the basis, Necro doesn't exist right now, does he?
I mean, maybe. He might.
I don't know.
I mean, he might. Like, maybe he hasn't escaped the lab yet. Maybe he's, like, still caught in the lab, so he can't play. He can't, like, fight in the Street Fighter competitions or whatever.
Let's just bring in 2.
All right, 2. Yeah, fine.
I'll call him 1. There you go.
That's
and he's
also
just a blob
fine.
that stands there. He can't even move. Just like...
I really, really like...
Forward, he's like...
That'd actually be kind of cool if he was like Blob. No, I think that's cool. I love 12's movement. I like the air dashing. I always thought that was an interesting addition to a game like Street Fighter. Even in a game that had parries, I thought it was really interesting. And he sucks in that game, but it's mostly because of the damage that he can't deal and that he takes. I mean, his movement options, some of the fact, like, for example, he cannot press stand roundhouse in a lot of matchups because it's punishable on block for no reason. Things like that. If they iron that stuff out, he could be a really interesting design, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I hate 12. I've always hated 12. I hated him because I felt like he was lazy because he already had like some repeat Necro moves and stuff, and it was just like I hated the fact that Necro was in the game already. And
I mean, he's Dalsum clone.
Yeah.
Like, did you hate Remy because Remy's just Guile?
I didn't like Remy very much, but the thing is, I've always hated Dalsum archetype characters. I know, you're a fan of them. I was a Zangief player, right? Yeah. So I've always hated. But the thing is, I've always just didn't like that character design, so I really hated Necro. Like, I was mad that they brought in another Dalsum.
Yeah, they have to.
And then they made 12, and then they just made this weird thing where he like changes into the opponent.
Well, I don't care about that. Yeah. He can not have that.
He's an ugly character. He's like crazy Morphe.
I know.
You know, like, oh look, I'm T1000.
I know, right?
So uninteresting.
I don't understand. It's totally foreign to me. Anyway, do you have any?
My opinion is that look, they're adding 4 new stages. They're repeats from Cross Tekken. Added 4 characters from Cross Tekken. If they're adding a character, it's going to be, like I said, I keep joking it's going to be Evil Goken.
Yeah.
Evil Goken, because they already have Evil Ryu and Oni, right?
Yeah.
So that would be the way to finish it. But the other one that I keep trying to think of all the Tekken characters that didn't come from, that aren't obvious a clone, like, you know, like Law is obviously Fei Long, and
right.
Ogre's obviously Seth, right?
Right.
So I keep trying to think of one of the Tekken characters that could be easily modified into a Street Fighter character. I haven't come up with a good one yet.
I think you're probably right about that, though. I think that's a real good guess that it will be. I mean, it's impossible to know what the gameplay will be, but that if you just limit yourself to thinking about what those characters look like, none of them looks like a 12.
Right.
Right. Mm-hmm. So it's okay. I think that's a good guess.
Yeah. So. I don't think it's going to be, like, for example, even if they were going to allow other characters, there's no way a character like Karen would show up. Mm-hmm. That would require a whole brand new studio to animate, to draw, to do all this stuff, right? I just don't think that's in the budget or in the cards.
I think that's very accurate,
yes.
I have to say.
Okay.
Well, you want to take a break real fast, and we'll get back to more questions in just a second?
Oh, yeah, sure, okay. Yeah, 1 second. All right, cool.
And get a little bit of respite from you.
From what? Oh.
I'm out of here.
Right,
bathroom time.
Okay.